We are live. Hello and welcome to Developer Insights. I'm David.
And I'm Justin.
And together we are the leads on game development and design here at Codename.
Not only that, we also founded Codename.
Two. It's in this.
We founded the sequel to Codename.
Codename yes.
2.
And we're going to be your hosts for this episode and for every episode.
Because when we're not here, the show doesn't happen.
It's holding up.
But we are here
We
today.
are here. Yep, that's true.
So the show's happening. Today is our 104th episode.
And in honor of today's holiday in the U.S., we will be pardoning a turkey.
Huh. Do we even have the authority to do that?
We do. I checked.
Okay, so I guess the real question is, what did the turkey do? What's it being pardoned for? I really want to know what it did before we pardon it.
Let me see. I've got that information here. Yes, it refused to give up its seat to an elderly turkey on the bus.
A heinous crime. I almost said heinous. That's a heinous crime. Why would we want to pardon that turkey? Wouldn't that just encourage more deviant turkey behavior?
Yes, deviant turkey behavior. Fair point. Scratch that. I don't think we'll be pardoning a turkey on today's episode.
All right, I'll set the oven for 350.
I'll get the baster.
Perfect. Anyway, we are here to answer development and design questions about Idle Champions.
If you don't ask any questions, however, you may have to suffer through Justin's one-man reenactment of the 2013 Thanksgiving-themed animated movie Freebirds.
Yes, I don't really know much about it. I Googled turkey movie, and it's what came up.
Well, you'd better be careful because considering it's Thanksgiving, we've got a higher than average chance that no one's going to ask any questions.
Yeah, that's a good point. Let me just quickly Google Freebirds script.
Okay, as always, we have pulled forward some questions from the previous show that we did not get to, and so we will answer those while we are waiting for new questions to come in. But before we get to those, we do have some updates on items that we have flagged to get looked at by the dev team. So without any further stalling for time, we're going to get started with those. Okay, top of the list. Let's see. I don't have any new fixes or features to announce this week. I do still have the in-progress list, which granted should have a few items added to it from last week that I haven't put on there yet, but I did speak to Peter about the issue where some of the champions were getting pulled out of background parties, and I'm to understand that there is a solution for that is underway, that has been started and not finished about 3 times. So hopefully, he said we could look at prioritizing that after the next build lock. So with any luck, we'll get that sorted. Otherwise, the in-progress items include making it so that season champions do not appear in the free time gate choices, reworking the favor display to not just be in the ID order, placing the current day of the season on the season dialogue, adding a tooltip to the potions display so that you can see them without opening the potion dialogue, having familiars actually get recalled off of the potions because that part didn't get implemented. Putting a timer on the current run so you can see how long it is run for. Enlarging the click region or the click region on the close buttons on some of the full screen dialogues, particularly for mobile, so that you can hit them. increasing the number of bounty contracts you can use at a time, and adding sorting and filtering to the quest tracker. Okay, on to questions that were left over from last week.
Let's do it.
Let's see.
Yeah.
First question. This is from Rough Rider 1995, and they ask, will the cadence of 8-week seasons cause burnout amongst the dev, since the 10-week season with a break was required early on?
Yeah, I mean, this is a really interesting question. Obviously, with the there's a couple different ways to look at it. With the quicker seasons and the no break between, we are doing a little bit more kind of work on the champion reworks than we were before, from both a design side and a development side. Art is also having to go a little bit faster than they were going before, because we compressed it down to 8 weeks without actually removing any of the content from it. So I think for, I know for season 7, we've actually cut down the amount of rework that we did. I don't think we did full reworks on all of the champions, similar to kind of previous seasons where like we included Artemis, but we didn't do a full rework on him. So we're trying to save a little bit of time and effort that way. And I think it's something that'll kind of remain to be seen what the effects are. But we are very aware of burnout, and we do not want to overtask ourselves with season-related stuff.
Yeah, it's also important to be able to have some time to work on additional features. Things like the bug list at the top, obviously time is needed for that sort of thing. And as we've kind of mentioned, we do have one developer who's working full-time on the new collection system. Mm-hmm. And so having additional, making sure that we have time to work on those other features is super important too. So,
yeah.
Next question. This is from Library of Akasha. Using excess Modron XP to prestige a core or something, would that help the speed stuff of the speed core?
Yeah, so this is something we've talked about on previous episodes. We've kind of talked about what it would look like to prestige a core and be able to level it up again, and what kind of bonuses you would get from that. I don't think we would directly do bonuses to the outputs of the core. There was an idea that someone had of, every time you prestige a core, you get to like break one of the walls that you normally can't place pipes in. So I mean, I think we would look at bonuses along that line, where we just kind of, every time you prestige it, it gets a little bit easier to, maybe you get an extra couple of slots. It gets a little bit easier to try and max out all the overcharges in the core and stuff like that. So that wouldn't necessarily work that wouldn't necessarily work to increase the output of the speed outputs.
Right, because they're already sort of maxed.
They don't, and they don't get supercharged.
Yeah.
That would be a little bit more broken than we want them to be.
Okay, next question. This is from D's Customs.
Yeah, I think that's right.
D's Customs.
D's Customs. I think we talked about that in the previous episode, and they confirmed that it is D's Customs.
D's Customs.
Yeah.
They would like to know, how many more Baldur's Gate 3 champions are planned in the pipeline, and are there going to be any more Ceramorphoses beats?
You need to catch up on
I know, I haven't played Baldur's Gate 3 yet. Well, host the beta. Like the one for Narak.
So the answer is, well, there are more Baldur's Gate 3 champions planned. Obviously, we've got Shadowheart coming out next week. That's been announced. I think there are 3 more, at least after that. But I don't think we're quite ready to say exactly who they are. And Design has designed at least one more Ceramorphoses feat for a non-new Baldur's Gate 3 champion. But I'm not sure when it's going to make its way into the game. So maybe there will be more Ceramorphoses feats, but there will definitely be at least 3 more Baldur's Gate 3 champions.
Oh yes, here, I remember this from the chat. DS Customs which of course was where the Nintendo joke came from, and we made the Nintendo joke, and I was like, people always make that joke.
I remember that
I
one.
don't know.
Yeah.
I recognized it. Okay, next question. This is from Ikey 2002, and they say, kind of silly question. Human's age is 67. Is that the age of Zhang? I think it's the top one. Or is that their combined age? And would it affect DM's skill differently depending on the answer?
So I believe my recollection of Human is that the age we gave him was essentially a combination of sort of 3 kobolds' ages.
Not
three
the
sort of
average.
not the average age of the
sum.
kobolds. But with that said, the way that age interacts with everyone else is it would interact as if it was one human aged 67 and not 3 kobolds aged 20 to 24 kind of thing. Sorry.
How long did kobolds live?
Well, some of them live only 14 days or so, and other ones, I think they live into their 20s.
11 days.
11 days, was it? Yes. Yeah. But some of them live a little bit longer.
67 would be really old for a kobold, I guess is what I'm getting at.
I mean, 67 would be really old for one kobold, but this isn't a kobold. This is 3 kobolds stacked on top of each other or one human.
I mean, wouldn't in that case human's age should just be when they stood stacked on top of each other? That's when human was born?
No.
Oh.
No.
Okay.
Because if a 6 foot tall human walks up to you and goes, "Hey, I'm 6 days old," you're gonna be like, that doesn't seem right. Maybe you're not a human. So yeah.
You got me there, I guess. Okay. Anyway,
in terms of the design, I believe the design is that it's just the age of the 3 kobolds stacked on top of each other.
Was in fact a kind of silly question.
No.
Next question. This is from Rough Rider 1995, and they ask, could we get seasonal daily quests returned with 72-hour expirations?
Yeah, I mean, this is something that
Wouldn't that make them 3-day quests?
Well, I think what they're asking for, and this is something we've seen a lot of people ask for, is kind of the idea that you get some daily quests and you can maybe stack up like 3 days of them and then go in and do them all in a row. So maybe instead of getting 3 daily quests a day, you get 1 daily quest a day and you can stack up to 3, or maybe you get 3 per day and you can stack up to 9, and then you can kind of do them. So you can either do them as you get them, or you can do them every 3 days or so and you're not missing out on anything. And so that's something that even way back when we were initially designing seasons, we were considering that option. And I think it's an option that we would consider if we brought daily quests back in season 7 or beyond. But right now
the UI supports it now.
Yeah,
That's not just 3 fixed. You can actually have as many in there as we like.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe we were thinking ahead when we designed that UI and not just trying to mess everything up for people. But yeah, I think we're still, as far as as dailies coming back, I think we're still kind of looking at the result of that. I think it's early on in the season. I don't think we're necessarily going to see what the result of daily quests being removed is, because people still have a lot of seasonal quests and milestone quests to work on. But I think we're getting into that point now where a lot of people who are spending a decent amount of time in the game have started to finish all of their milestones and all of the first 2 weeks worth of seasonals, and now the 3rd week worth of seasonals now. So I think we'll start to see the result of removing daily quests and see if it's kind of the direction we were intending for that, or if we see something completely different, and then we'll start to make a call on whether or not we add dailies back in one form or another.
Okay.
That is all our questions that we copied in from the prior shows, so hopefully there are people showing up to ask new ones.
Yes, all
yes,
right.
Here we go.
First question of today's show is from Library of Akasha. Question, no bueno on Fen not being in the formation for her patron buff to take effect yet. From someone who knows nothing about coding, it seemed like a pure bingo bongo copy from Strongheart, tweak it a bit, and done.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's more complicated than that. I assume it's a tiny bit more complicated than that. But it really comes down to kind of the same reason why, there's a bunch of things that Dave mentions at the top of the show that haven't gotten done yet and have been on that list for a while. And it's just, we have a small dev team, and we have to sort of allocate those resources in the most sort of effective and efficient manner that we can.
So I also you said the most affectionate way possible.
In the most affectionate way, yes. Well, shh. But yes, so it's just something that is on the list and hasn't bubbled up to the top of the priority list yet. So
Bingo bongo.
it'll get there eventually. It is something that is on the list.
Okay.
The next question here is also from Library of Akasha, and they are asking, could you explain why open more chests is capped at 1,000, buy more chests is capped at 250, and use more blacksmithing contracts is at 100? It seems to just keep getting lower. I thought it was going to be $1,000 round. How much more will bounty contracts be? Assuming that when we add a slider for that.
Yeah. Which is on the list at the top of the show, and I just need to get a little bit of time to get through some of those, because some of those are actually 20 to 30 minute changes, and so just get some dedicated time on that. We can get a couple of them done. Blacksmithing contracts, I mean, certainly the reason that they're sort of that disparate values is because we were changing them one at a time. The blacksmithing contract one, it's 100, 250. I mean, we could put it in the middle, like 750 and 500 maybe, and put the other one at 750 just for uniformity. I'm kidding, of course. Yeah, I think I'm not actually 100% sure why we stuck to 250 for the purchase one. I think that was actually just a test number that Mark was working on, and then that's what ended up being the number. So we could certainly increase that as well. And then the bounty contract ones, and then of course the blacksmith contract ones. So yeah, we could bump those up to something more uniform. Okay, next question. This one is look through the chat. Test number. Delcun asks, is it possible to get a feat screen to easily get an overview of the missing feats and how to get them? It's no fun to go through every champion manually.
Yeah,
I feel like I saw a screen like this just yesterday.
Just yesterday, I feel like we saw a screen like this because we did. So this is something that will be in the collections dialogue when that eventually makes its way out. Speaking of things that are eating up dev resources.
Yep.
So yeah, we will have exactly that kind of screen. It'll have all the feats you can filter by champions. And by owned or unowned. You can sort by champions.
You can filter by
You can filter by owned or unowned.
Yeah.
I think there was a couple other filters on there. But you will be able to then see which feats you're missing and how to get them, whether through a chest or gems or potentially if they're not currently available for either of those things, like the ones in the emergence shop, for example. So yeah, that screen will be part of the collections dialogue, and you'll be able to see the percentage of feats you have collected and get it up to 100% if that is something that tickles your fancy.
Yep, as well as you'll be able to see which ones you don't have. So very specifically. Next question. This is from Library of Akasha. Thanks for finally allowing us to reach the season level with Golden Epic before the full dismantle timer runs out. Really wish you gave us a heads up though, especially on Sasaspia, whose emergence Golden Epic could also be dismantled. Anyways, what made you change your mind?
I wouldn't say we changed our mind on this. I think it was a combination of XP getting shuffled forward by removing daily quests and XP getting compressed by the 8-week season. So I don't think this was actually like a intentional change on our part. It was just a happy little accident.
Oh dear. Don't go all Bob Ross on us.
We're gonna bring Eric out here. He can do his Bob Ross paper ephemera stream again.
Oh no. Next question. Let's see. This is from Garwar. Garwar asks, since there isn't really a way to change the appearance of nerds themselves for a skin, can you just have them in a different vehicle than the minecart? Like a roller coaster car from the cartoon, or a spelljammer ship, or a shopping cart, or a pirate ship?
Yeah, I mean, I think those are all fun ideas. I'm not 100% sure why we haven't done a skin for the nerds. It's probably because they're kind of a bit of a weird edge case where you get them from, well, you just buy them for gems right now. But they did previously come from a special promotion with the actual candy. So maybe that's why we haven't done a skin. I imagine a skin for them would just be for gems. So yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know, but I do like the idea of a shopping cart.
Yeah.
There's some fun items that could be done with that one.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. This one is from Amara. Did you decide what to do with the time gate pieces, and when will it appear?
Yeah, so we've got a couple of different ideas of what we want to do with time
driven
gates.
by a giant gnome.
We've got a couple ideas of what we want to do with time gates, and we do have some plans to make some changes to those at some point in the future. We are also looking at other potential ways to spend time gate pieces for beneficial reasons or for beneficial things. So there's not too much I can really say about that right now, except for the fact that we're still looking into it, and we don't have a timeline specifically for when that will come out.
All right. Next question. This is from OG17, asking, seeing the original Yang Tsao was given surprisingly low eligibility. She's barred from Mert and require +4 Constitution for Vajra, or +2 Strength, or +3 Charisma for Zariel. Could this be adjusted to make investing in her more appealing? Yeah, Justin, what gives?
Yeah, I'm not sure why her stats were so low. I mean, it was a champion Jiang Sao was a champion that we did with one of the content creators in ICP6. So seemingly there was a little bit of influence there in terms of where their stats came out. Yeah, it's a strange one. We try not to have champions that are only available in one patron, but it does. I mean, it has happened in the past before we added patrons, and it certainly is obviously still happening here with Jiang Sao. I'm not sure what we would do to adjust that. I mean, we'd have to just flat up increase their base stats, because we're certainly not going to be putting out a +4 con feat anytime soon, I don't think. But yeah, I'm honestly, I'm not sure what we would do for that.
Right. And you're saying this, if this was a character from ICP?
I think it was an ICP6 one.
Maybe the stats were rolled really poorly or something.
Maybe they. Yeah, I don't know.
We're just true to the stats that were part of the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Next question is from OG17. The Shadowheart blog had people questioning her listed alignment, given the source material, which I'm unfamiliar with. That's in the question, not me personally, and how Ozzy's version is portrayed. They're also asking how in-game Celeste is lawful good when her god is chaotic. I remember when people questioned LG Dritz, we were told it came straight from Wizards. Are these similar situations?
I think that without getting into spoiler territory, I think that the Shadowheart one was intentional on our part. The Dritz one was definitely something where there was kind of conflicting source material. There was some source material that had him as lawful good, and there was some that had him as lawful neutral. And I think when we asked Wizards about it, they were like, lawful good is the one that we want you to use. It's possible a similar thing happened for Celeste, but I think that for Shadowheart, we did reach out to Larian and ask them about it. I think that Baldur's Gate 3 obviously doesn't have alignments in it directly, and so I don't think we got like a specific, like, this is what we designed them as. So we kind of looked at the source material, kind of guessed at an average alignment for them, and went with that. But the designer who actually put Shadowheart together, he's from the US, so he's currently on Turkey vacation right now. And I know this is going to be something I'm going to chat with him about on Monday, just to confirm that it's something that he feels comfortable putting his foot down about, and going with what we've got.
All right. Next question. This is from T5 Cats. There's 31,500 sea gems total from drops. That's 3,500 per day, but there seems to be more dropping each day than that. I have 4,241, which means 741 in just 2 hours, or 4 hours even. Seems fast.
This might be related to the fact that I think if you're maxing out your corrupted gem drops, we try and end them a certain amount of time before the end of the event. So while it's a 10-day event, I think we only drop them for like 9.5 or 9 3/4 days or something like that. So it might just be the compression from that, where it's a little bit more than. Well, it's been out for 2 days, or like a day and a bit now. So 3,500 for the first day, and then I could see it.
35.
I think that's what's going on. I can't see it being.
But I mean, that's 145 an hour, and if you got 741 in 2 hours.
I think it makes sense.
Or 4 hours would be closer.
I think it still makes sense.
Okay.
So I think that's what's going on there. So I think what'll happen is you'll get to the end of the emergence, and you'll have gotten 31,500 from drops, and the drops will just end at some point earlier than the actual end of the emergence. And the reason we do that is so people who can't necessarily be online right at the point when the emergence ends will still be able to get the full amount of gems and spend them before it ends.
Yes, because it certainly didn't start that way, and it was upsetting.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. This is from Dice42. If not already answered, I assume it's not, it's still highlighted. Is Narak adjustment expected to come in before the dismantle timer, or will you give a new dismantle option after the adjustment?
Yeah, so the plan is still to try and get some Narak adjustments in before next week. I have to go over what those are with Peter, but I think there were 4 things I was looking at. I remember being 4 things on my list. There was the stunning strike, stacking. There was the missing buffs for Githzerai focus, or now his specializations. There was the cap on his ultimate gear that needs to be looked at. And then there was a 4th one that I am forgetting at the moment, but it is on my list. So we're going to be looking at those and hopefully getting some fixes in probably early next week.
Okay. Next question. This is from.
Oh yes, the doing something for the ultimate so that people can use that a little bit more easily.
Okay. Next question. This is from N Chains. What was the reasoning behind Zorbu's reduced base value scaling from Know Your Enemy? It seems that he does a lot less damage now, even accounting the changed items. Was Zorbu's DPS causing issues or problematic?
Yeah, no. So the removal of buffs to Know Your Enemy wasn't intentional. It's not a lot of damage increase, but it is something that we'll look at replacing as well. So I'm just going to highlight that one and make sure that I remember to take a look at that as well when I'm looking at Narak's stuff. Overall, I think there should be ways to get Zorbu's damage to the level or even beyond the level that he was before. I would especially look at the fact that we separated out his Hunter's Pack not applying to himself, and then had a separate ability that always applies it to himself regardless of any positional stuff going on, and maybe look at a champion who rhymes with Vorbluk and see if there's a useful way to use them together.
Okay. Next question. This one is from Amara. You mentioned a pirate season. Will there be a gold find Modron core too? And of course, fancy pirate skins.
Will there be those things? Yeah, of course. I don't know.
Pirate season.
I think a pirate season would be fun, and the theming for each season oftentimes isn't like sometimes it's tied to the champions who are in them. Other times it's just like the elemental rebirth seasons, not exactly like those aren't all elemental champions. So it was just kind of a theme to build them around. So I think that yeah, I could see doing a pirate season at some point, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The idea appeals to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I highlighted some more questions up here for you.
Oh, okay.
Just
We're
about.
going backwards. Okay.
Yeah.
Next question, or previous next question. This one is from Arita Mustafi. Yes. Arita Mustafi. That's what I'm going with. Is there any plan to show the total effects on a champion, specifically the total legendary effect in a formation? It would be really helpful to see it in a formation. Thanks.
Yeah, so there's a bunch of stuff that we don't show on the champion profile in terms of incoming effects. Legendary effects are one of those things that are not really consistent. Patron perks and blessings are something that's not super consistent in terms of what the overall effects are on a champion. And so one of the things that I really want to do early in the next in the new year is look at revamping the champion profile dialogue to include all of that stuff. So that there's a place where you can just kind of see all of the incoming effects that are increasing a champion's damage, and that is, yeah, that's a pretty high priority for me in terms of next things after the collections dialogue is done.
Okay.
Click, 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 click.
It's highlighting some more questions. Giveaway time, Justin.
Oh, okay. Well, okay, sure. We can go back up to this question after it. So it is giveaway time. It's 2:31 local time. That means it's time to go get
2:31 C&E time. Whatever that is.
That means it's time to baste old turkey there in the oven.
We only have a toaster oven here at the office. I don't.
Well, anyway, it is time for our famous, world famous giveaway. What are you searching for this time? Noble gases. Okay, spoiler alert. So the way this works is very, very shortly there will be a keyword in chat. All you have to do is copy and paste that keyword and paste it back into chat, and you will be entered into a draw to win 42 chests of your choice. It can be any type of chest that exists in the game. It has to be a type of chest that exists in the game, though. So it could be gold chests, it could be silver chests,
turkey chests.
You could turkey chests.
Oh.
I think there actually might be turkey chests.
Okay.
It can be a specific champion chest. It could be a season chest. I would probably go for Modron core or Modron component chests. Modron core chests. Each Modron core chest drops a new Modron core. Yeah, don't ask for those.
That one
I don't want to have to design 42 more Modron cores just
more
for
than
that one
right?
player.
Because they already have a couple of cores. So
yeah, 42 new ones. That's what I meant. Are there any types? Other
well, I
types
think
of
when you
chests
get
that are
those,
your
it
favorite?
just like you get, because it's a duplicate, it just increases the eye level of the Modron core.
Ah, yes, increases the item level of your Modron core. Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
No, I wasn't going to suggest noble gas chests.
No?
Like
Oh,
not
okay.
a helium chest or an argon chest or
Any other noble
what
gases
is
that you know?
Oh, what?
OG? Organis? I imagine that's like number 100 and something, way down at the
brand
bottom.
new element.
Yeah, element 118.
Synthetic chemical
apparently-
element. Okay.
And it is actually a noble gas, like they placed it on the periodic table. I guess they must
That's what
have.
it says.
Interesting.
Yep. It's a noble
Well,
gas.
that's lovely. We've all learned something today.
Hmm.
Anyway, good luck on that, the giveaway.
Yep.
I think you probably have a slightly higher chance of winning today because a lot of the, well, not a lot, but well, a decent number of our regulars, I think, are off eating turkey or hanging out with their families or watching football or whatever it is people do
All
on
of the
this
above
day.
at the same time. I think
Yeah.
it's the
Yeah.
yeah.
Anyway, let's go back to some questions. There's one up here.
Okay, right before the giveaway line. Yep.
yeah.
Next question is from Cassius335. Can we have the 2-week break back between seasons so it is easier to find the time / focus for other tasks?
Yeah, this is a good question. Something we kind of have been trying to figure out internally what makes sense for breaks between seasons or breaks at the end of seasons. And the thing we've kind of noticed is that engagement with the seasons tends to peak somewhere around about 50 to 60% of the way through a season. And after that, we see sort of engagement with the season in the game kind of fall off in general, which is why we decided to bring the seasons together so that there was no break between them. Because we kind of, what we saw from the kind of numbers and the metrics and whatnot was that people were already kind of taking a break for the last couple weeks of the season. Now, the thing we're trying for season 6 by removing the daily quests is to try and further kind of remove that pressure to engage with the season once you get right towards the very end of it. So I think that we're going to kind of watch to see how people are engaging with the last kind of half of the season, and then decide whether it warrants going back to having breaks between seasons, or whether sort of removing that daily pressure through daily quests kind of accomplishes the same sort of thing. We think that by removing daily quests and giving you, a lot of the XP up front, you really only have kind of those 10. If you finish all your milestones, you really only have the 10 new or 9 new seasonal quests per week to focus on. And once you get those done, you'll kind of have, a bunch of time in any given week toward the end of the season to focus on other things.
Sorry, I was just enjoying the name of the winner.
Who won?
MSG Packet.
Ah, congratulations, MSG. We were just talking about you today on the way to lunch.
Yep. Yeah.
Delicious.
Nice. Okay. Next question is from Turk Dog TV. Why no more gain skins? Or is my game glitched and it's not showing me any?
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure of the exact reason why there are no more gain skins. I know that when we do skins for content creators, we have to sort of go through a process of licensing and getting approval and stuff. So it's possible that just we haven't been able to connect with the content creator and get those things authorized, or it might just be that we've just missed them. So I'm not 100% sure on that one, but yeah, that would be why. One of those two reasons.
Okay. Next question. This is from Rough Rider 1995. Will we see a significant larger number of glitch skins to double up on races? Will we possibly see feats that add an alignment that allows for MERT eligibility?
Yeah, so I think the glitch skins are kind of a fun way for us to kind of throw different opportunities into the mix. I would like to say that we're going to do ones that affect alignment and potentially could allow for MERT eligibility, but I feel like my recollection is that alignment feats are a little bit fraught with bugs, based on the fact that some of the variant requirements are sort of inclusive or exclusive of alignments. And I think when we try to double up on alignments, like we have someone who's both chaotic and lawful, I think it starts to cause issues with eligibility in those adventures, depending on whether it was implemented exclusively or inclusively. So I am not 100% sure if we're going to be adding feats that do that. I see Rough Rider 1995 is rightly pointing out that Corzone already messes with alignments, and my recollection is that I got some dirty looks from the dev team when we asked for that, and I'm not sure if that 100% works correctly in all cases. So that may be why I think they're less willing to do that kind of stuff. The other thing I would say is because Corzone messes with alignments of champions that are placed into the formation, you have to be able to place the champion in the adventure anyway before they will get the alignment update, which I think is what would differentiate that from a feat that would just apply it and could potentially allow them to be used in a variant there otherwise wouldn't be able to. So it's a complicated thing. I would love to do it, but it's got a little bit more complication than just a feat that says, hey, this champion now counts as both a human and a tiefling, or something like that. Question here from the Lurking Writer, who says, why are you guys talking about kobolds? Human is clearly a normal human.
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
I'm not sure why no, it was a mistake.
I actually don't know, yeah.
Yep.
Some sort of brain fart. Whoops. Yes, of course, human is a human. Right there in the name. Here's another question from Niskix. I can see the theme of what you're highlighting today. They ask, good day.
It's the theme of the questions. It's not what I'm highlighting.
How are the new pirate skins going? P.S. I love the glitch skins. 11 out of 10 will recommend. Oh, excellent.
Yeah, I think that's probably more of a statement than a question, but yes, the new pirate skins, we better get to work on those so that we can give an update.
I know that the artists worked really hard and had a lot of fun with some of those glitch skins, and so I think there's going to be more coming down the line as well. And so yeah, it's great that you like those. We're glad you like them. We'll pass that feedback on.
Yeah, I mean the artists are just over there. We can yell it out.
We can just yell at the door, I suppose.
To
Yeah,
the
that's
art
true.
Next question. This is from Gary. Is there a reason why this past Monday there was a bonus quest for completing new adventures, but if you already had all of the adventures completed, you got nothing? Wouldn't it have been smarter to potentially drop the bonus quests on Wednesday alongside the content drop? The replacement quest system doesn't seem to give replacements for quests and is unfun to get less XP due to actively playing the game.
Yeah, I think there was one on Monday for doing variants, and I believe that my understanding was that one should have appeared for people who already had all the variants done on Monday. It should have appeared on Wednesday for those folks, or yesterday for those folks, since we then added a bunch of new patron variants into the game. I think it was for patron variants. But yeah, in general, we do try to make sure that all of the quests have replacements for folks who have already done stuff. It's not our intention that that people would be able to get less experience or less season
Progress,
XP for because they've done stuff previously in the game. And that's something that if we do have a couple of edge cases there, like I know we do with like complete a new base adventure if you've already done a bunch of them, that we are going to try to fix those as we sort of move forward through the seasons. So that'll be something that we can hopefully resolve over time.
Yeah, I mean, in the chat, like Gary is saying that their alt account is about 6 levels above their main account due to bonus quests not having replacements. That seems a little bit high to me.
Does seem quite a bit high, yeah. I don't think we've done enough bonus quests to
make up that
allow for
difference.
6 levels, yeah.
It does seem high.
That does seem high.
Yeah, we need to verify that. Next question. This is from Legend and Mike All. When is a 5th party slot going to be available?
That's a good question. The 5th party slot would probably be available when we add in a 5th patron, because it seems to be our MO to roughly equal the number of parties to the number of patrons.
To give you another place to automatically do your chores?
Yes. Exactly. And we are still, I think, planning to do a 5th patron in sort of the first half of 2024, I believe is
Anywhere
when
in the next 6 months.
They're literally on the content pipeline for early 2024. So you guys can all update your funny memes to say 2024, because that's the new date for another patron.
Yeah, the chat's asking actually for the number of patrons plus 1, so that you've got 1 extra party to do something else.
Yeah.
We'd have to roll out 2 new parties then.
We would. That's true.
Do we have enough champions in every seat for that?
Of course we do, yeah. I think we have enough champions in every seat for 10 or 11 parties at this point. Like there are.
Well, what are we doing? We need to get up to 10 or 11 parties.
We'll get on that.
2 new party hype. And then think of all the new familiars we need.
Well, yeah, if familiars did anything useful in the background.
All right. Next question. This is from Libram 2020. Hello. Current glitch emergence event has an item that we can buy. It's called the Marvelous Support Pigment. It adds a champion tag-based effect to an epic or higher equipment of your choice. The thing is, I don't have an epic or higher champion that I usually use. Will this pigment disappear after the event? Should I be worried about missing out or not using it? Am I safe to keep it until I have something?
Yeah, so if you buy any of the pigments from the Emergent store, you can keep those until you have a piece of equipment you want to use it on. It will not expire at the end of the event or at any point, really.
But it will go to the store if you don't buy it.
It will eventually, yes, the pigments that are offered in the store will eventually expire after the end of the next emergence. So grab the ones you want, and you can hold on to those until the point at which you want to apply them.
It's like one of those quest items that ends, or not quest items, it's like the bonus items that end up in your inventory at the end of the game because you never used them because you
Yes.
I might need it for something.
Yes.
1,500 health potions in your inventory.
Don't treat them like health potions in an RPG.
Oh, okay.
I can imagine, like, for game designers, like working on like one of those RPGs, they're like, okay, we're gonna carefully like dole out the health potions at a rate kind of equal to the rate we think you'll use them on bosses and stuff. And then, like, you know, people are posting online.
Why is
like,
this boss so hard?
Why is the boss so hard? And why do I have 15,000 health potions at the end? It's like, darn you, players, follow the intended design route.
Drink your potions. Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna go ahead.
Oh yeah, sorry, this one's blue. So I
know,
it's like literally here that this is the first blue question of the day. So this question is from Rough Rider 1995, and it's for you. For you, it's a question for you. And they ask, regular request, I guess it's their regular request, for customizable hotkeys for accessibility issues, including foreign keyboards.
Yes, yes. This is one of those items that certainly at some point we should be able to add in custom keys. It's just something that hasn't had enough time. It hasn't been able to we don't have enough additional time to prioritize it. But I think, as I may have mentioned in a previous episode, if you request it on the regular and or additional people continue to request it, that is how to get things sort of moved up the priority list.
Lanarev wants to know, what is a blue question? So
what's a blue question?
So here we'll sort of open the Komodo here and give you guys a little peek. Wait, no, peek behind the curtain. There we go. How things work. So our lovely mods. We don't actually have time to follow chat super duper closely. So our lovely mods go in there, they copy your questions into our question stock.
That's right.
And then Dave and I each have a copy of the question stock up on our screens here. That's why we spend all the time looking at the screens instead of looking at the camera like we should be. And we highlight those in our individual colors based on whether we want to answer them or we want the other person to answer them. And Dave's color is blue and my color is green. And we also sometimes highlight things purple when we're like, could go either way. So yeah, a blue highlighted question is one that is for me to ask to Dave.
Yeah, usually technical or UI related.
Yeah, usually. And all the design, all those boring design ones, they go.
Why did you choose to design a champion the particular way? I'm not gonna touch that.
I'm gonna throw that one back at you. Like, why? Why did I choose to do that, Dave? Look into my mind, read my brain.
Ouch.
Not that part, not that part.
All right, at any rate, yes, adding customizable hotkeys would be a nice feature to have.
Yes.
But I'm not sure where it's going to land priority-wise at this time.
Yeah. Okay, the next question is also blue. It's either a question for you or, as they say in chat, it's a question that's feeling kind of sad. So this question is from Aspilla357, and they ask, can we get a way to open character-specific chests directly from their character sheet instead of hunting for them in the chest opening or inventory?
That'd be great.
Yes, that'd
We
be
should totally do
awesome.
that.
That should be part of our
Yeah.
champion profile update, dialogue update
Yeah.
at some point in the future.
I like it.
Q1 2024. Quote me on it. But then if I don't do it,
Oh, no.
I guess just throw that quote back in my face.
All right. Next question. This is from the Lurking Writer, and they would like to know, has there been any dev or design time given to further accessibility options? The changes to item cards, the different shaped gems, notches at the top, etc., to denote different rarities was a welcome update.
Yeah, I think this is something we're always kind of thinking about as suggestions come in and as specific kind of issues that people are experiencing come in. I think we tried to be a little bit proactive, ironically, with the Narak overlay, with respect to color blindness. At least we tried to use colors that we thought wouldn't clash for the majority of color blindness. Obviously, that was a very ironic thing to focus on, given the inaccessibility of the ultimate itself. But yeah,
we got one. It's all of it helps. I think
Yeah.
It's sort of.
yeah. So I think
Certainly, we're open to suggestions. Like if there's something that is causing an issue for someone, to let us know, and we can see what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, we, like you said earlier, it's sort of the more kind of noise that we get made about specific things, the more likely we are to focus on that thing. So I think it's something that, if there's something specific that you're seeing that you think we need to improve, let us know, and we can take a look at it and see if we agree or if we have the resources and get it done.
Yep. Okay.
Another blue question. They're just coming fast and furious now from Loopy79. They say, asked this a while ago and got a positive response, but it seems to have disappeared from the to-do list. Can we get the display of patron variants completed in the patron summary screen to display as number completed out of total available instead of just showing the number completed? It would be convenient to be able to see at a glance how many variants we have yet to complete.
Yeah, I remember this question from before. I'm not sure where it got lost in the list of variants.
It is something that the collection dialogue will have specifically on it. It'll have the total number of variants you've completed out of the total number available, but it'll also have a breakdown for each individual campaign as well.
Briv 9 jump, keep making noise. You all heard Justin. Yeah. I mean, it still isn't. It might as well be on the patron screen as well. So, yep. I'll re-highlight that. Okay. Next question is from Rough Rider 1995. Any hopes of getting the remainder of the crew from the old animated D&D cartoon?
Yes, there are hopes of that. Absolutely. Spoiler alert: we have actually designed one of the D&D kids from the old cartoon.
Ooh, which one is it?
Oh, I'm not going to tell you that. You can look that up in the design docs if you want to know, but I'm not telling them.
Sorry, I thought your name was Dupuy.
No, my name is not Chris Dupuy, so you will not get the specifics of that. But there is one coming up soon.
Okay. Next question is from Coffina or Coffinia. Sure.
Coffeenia?
Coffinia? Yeah, it's probably more accurate. Love Gnome Zorbu skin when?
That's a fun idea. I like that as an idea, especially. It feels like it should have been a season-related one, because we were a lot of our focus on the season rework of Zorbu was sort of to try and reform his more genocidal tendencies. So I think having
reformed.
he's a reformed.
He's become one with his anger.
Yeah. So that would have been a fun thing to do then. I'm not sure where Zorbu lies on the kind of priority list for additional skins after the season, but
Zorbu skin? A love gnome.
A love gnome. I love Zorbu.
Instead of a murder gnome. Yeah, okay.
Instead of a murder gnome. Exactly. Yeah.
It's not reformed. It's just, fair enough.
Let's see. Next question here. You highlighted, so I assume you know what.
I was going to ask if you knew anything about this.
It says, You say you have a system in place to get players that get too many items if they speed hack or so, but do you have the same for accounts that play too slow? If you minimize the game game speed seems slower. I get way more than 1 hour of a 1 hour potion and progress way too slow. Is it intended or not, or is this something to look into?
It has a system. This is like the one you had when you were in Vegas.
I don't know about a season. I mean, the first half of the question, I don't really know
the
too much
context
about.
on that.
But the game slowing down when you minimize the game feels like something we might do. Like we might reduce the frame rate down to like
the
4
frame
frames
rate
per second or something.
does get reduced on minimized. I think there's actually a setting. I feel like we've talked about this before. I know that there's definitely a setting for having the frame rate reduce when the game is not the focused application. But I think if you minimize it, it does slow down as well. I think it just automatically reduces the frame rate. Yeah, I mean, I think I might speak to the first portion. Sounds like it could be talking about like, not getting additional like event currency or something like that. Like, because that's the only thing I could see where we would be tracking sort of what you can or cannot get in a certain amount of progress in a certain amount of time. But yeah, as far as like the game's progressing slowly, and I'm not 100% sure. Like it's not intended to cause like a time dilation effect, as it were. I'm not sure that it's something that we're going to spend a lot of time looking into, though, because the impacts of it, as I say, like you progress slowly when it's minimized. So
yeah, that seems like something where maybe like, especially if hour-long potions are lasting more than an hour, that there's something going on there when it's running at just a few frames per second.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure why an hour-long potion would last longer than an hour, unless
it does seem very strange.
Because it's typically the way those timing loops work is that during the update there's a delta time for the frame, and that's subtracted from like a double precision timer tracking the amount of time remaining. So we have actually seen cases when there's a reason we use double, not float, and that's because at certain high frame rates the interval is small enough that you get longer time on a float. So we actually had to have those all use doubles, because otherwise, the precision wasn't low enough or wasn't high enough. But at slower intervals, the time chunk that's being subtracted would be like that delta time would be larger, and so you would actually think that you'd much more likely stay on top of that. Like that's that precision issue. Well, I suppose the precision issue would still exist. It would just be less impactful because you were going in like several second chunks instead of in tiny fractions of a second chunk.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like even in if it was doing 5 frames per second or something like that, when it was minimized, it should still be 0.2 per frame, which I just don't know how that would drift so much.
Yeah, it shouldn't.
I could see it drifting a little bit.
Yeah, but it's not like you're doing 60 and you're getting 0.016.
Yeah, I wouldn't expect it to drift more than it would when you just have the game open and you're getting 60 frames per second. So that's kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
Okay. That said, I think we're out of time.
Oh, no. We are out of time. Look at that. Where'd my question? Oh, no. My script is gone. I don't know how to outro it. Okay, well, I guess that's all the time we have. If we didn't get to your question, don't worry. You'll have another opportunity. Is that what it says?
I think so.
We will be live again at this same time next week, I think. Yeah. Before we go, though, we'd like to thank our tireless mods. This week, Mars was on, well, he's eating turkey. So it was Sean and Gabe who copied your questions into our questions doc, as we mentioned earlier, and moderated the chat. And so thanks to both of you for helping out.
Yeah, and of course, thanks to all of you for hanging out, for watching the stream, enjoying the game, and for asking such great questions, because without you, no one here would get to do what we do.
And we like what we do.
Yeah. Every time I have to look that one up. All right, that is enough. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone.
Bye.
All right. So, this morning, Justin, I tried to take a selfie in the shower, but the image was too blurry.
Really?
I think I'm having selfie steam issues.
God. All right, you got me with that one.